This video is brought to you by Against the Flow of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is a book about Jake Fayard, a Marine veteran who is unhappy with the political machine running the state of Mississippi. He decides to fight the corruption from the inside. Jake will face more challenges than he ever has and will stand up for what he thinks is right. His notoriously hot temper will push him to the edge of murder, along with his friend and brother Kobe Barhanovich. Together, they will fight the system and give the power back to the citizens of Mississippi. Against the Flow of Mississippi is now available on Amazon. A link to the book will be placed in the description below. Alright y'all, so another W5 BLX video, and I'm trying out a new way of doing this, new way of recording my hand videos. I'm actually using a handheld camera on a tripod. So, that being said, I'm going to try to demonstrate some HF communications. Now it is 1:30 in the morning, so the higher bands are dead, even though we are at a solar high. If you'll see my previous video where I showed the DX cluster, you'll understand. Tonight I'll be using my Yaesu FT450D. I'm using a off-center fed 7-band dipole. It works 80 through 10. The box says, or the antenna says it won't do 15 meters, but I beg to differ because I've made more DX, I've got more DX entities on 15 than I do on any other band with that antenna. So, and I really don't have to tune it. So, I mean, it's not bad on 15, but right now I'm on 75 or 80, whatever you want to call it. And the reason I'm here is I have seen Belgium spotted, OT4A. I heard him a minute ago. I don't know if he signed off. If he did, I'll go somewhere else and try something else. But let's take a listen. I'm not hearing him. I think he signed. That's just a rag chew. You know what? We'll go up into the shortwave broadcast band. Alright, first off, I'm going to cover a few things on the shortwave broadcast band. This is how I tell where the propagation is. This is called WWV, and it will tell you the time, and it will demonstrate this. By that buzzer, it probably just gave the time. But you can see 10 megahertz is working. 5 megahertz does the same thing. It's not as good. 10 is good. 15 is not good. 20 is good. So that means we need to be operating somewhere around 40 meters. That's what this is telling me. That's where the signal's strongest, is at 10 megahertz. So So I'm going to check the DX cluster. I'm going to let this play out over here for a second.
At the tone, 6 hours, 42 minutes, coordinated universal time.
That's all WWV does. Back into VFO mode. Back on to 40 meters.
Sugar 58 Mexico, November 9 Echo, X-ray uniform, over.
See if I can hear the Slovenian station.
November 9 Echo, X-ray uniform, N9 Echo, X-ray uniform, over.
Okay, I can't hear Slovenia, but I can hear the guys calling him. What they're doing is they're just trying to make a quick contact just to see if they can do it, basically. Some people call this contesting. Basically, you give your call sign and a signal report and you get off. Sometimes you can talk with them, sometimes you can't. A lot of people do these for awards. They do it for fun. I do it too. It's just something to do. But that is one use, or one thing that you can do on ham radio. Just for fun, I'm going to check 20 meters. Probably should have done this today because today wasn't bad. $20 may be dead. It may be, yeah. Here lately, I hadn't been getting good propagation on 20. Show you something else you can do with it. Here's a loud one. It's religious, but whatever. This is called shortwave broadcasting. Some of these stations are way away. The one I was trying to listen to was Radio Havana, Cuba. But for some reason, I can't pick it up. I don't know why. I don't know if they're having transmitter issues or off the air or propagation is just not in my favor. But this is a shortwave station. And of course you have your AM broadcast band that you could listen to. Now, reason I went to this is how I got my start. Fun fact, I've always liked to play with stuff. I guess I was about 7 or 8 years old. I was living in McGee, Mississippi, and I had a Sony Walkman. Y'all remember those? Now back in the day, everybody had them. Well, I was always listening to FM because that's where my music was. Well, one night I'm bored. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. I can't sleep, so I grab the Walkman and I'm listening. I flip it over to AM. While I'm laying in my bed, I'm hearing the station here out of New Orleans. I'm hearing Chicago. I'm hearing Cincinnati. I'm hearing Atlanta. I'm hearing all these far off stations, New York. And all from a Walkman that's just about as big as this phone, maybe smaller. I was hooked. From there I went into shortwave broadcast listening, which is what I was trying to demonstrate, but the gods of propagation are kind of against me right now. Again, maybe I should do this stuff during the day. And then later on I got into ham radio. There is a lot that you can do.
Echo X-ray uniform. Echo X-ray uniform. Over.
There's a lot you could do on this. I'm starting to hear that Slovenian guy, it sounds like. So there is a lot that you can do with this. Slovenia is like, what, 6,000 miles away from where I'm at in Jacksonville, Florida? No satellite, no repeaters, just radio to radio. Now, the argument's going to be, why we have the internet, what do we need ham radio for? And it's a valid argument. It is a very valid argument. And I'm going to counter with this. In case of an emergency situation like Hurricane Katrina, your internet may not work. You may not have anything. You may not be able to send your emails. I can actually send email through this. I can throw a wire in the air, grab a 12-volt car battery, and I'm connected to the world. True story. Hurricane Katrina wiped out communications on the Mississippi Gulf Coast and in southeast Louisiana. I went through Katrina in Biloxi, Mississippi. The only way you was getting in and out of the area was ham radio. So being that it's so easy to set up, so quick to deploy, and you can help your friends in need, you can also have fun with it as I do. I'm going to pan around and show you my setup here. This is my whole setup. Got 4 radios. I'm rocking 4 radios in here. It's a decent little shack. I've certainly had much nicer setup, but I like it. a lot of the guys that get into ham radio, or what we call, the ones that are getting into it now, are called preppers. I don't put much stock in a lot of preppers, and I'll go ahead and tell you this and tell you why. A lot of preppers are the same ones that are, oh, the world's going to end, we need to do this and we need to do that, and you know, I'm not good with all that. I don't believe the world's going to end. That's not why I got into this. I don't believe that the government's going to come take my guns. If they were, I wouldn't have this still. I'm not of the opinion that, you know, the New World Order is going to take over and we're going to have the UN and their troops marching down Main Street. I don't believe that either. I got into it because I like the hobby and I wanted to help somebody out. But a lot of people get into it for that reason, because they want to keep communication with whatever they think is going to end the world. I want to tell y'all that that is not a representation of what the majority of ham radio is about. A lot of the guys that do exactly what I talk to, this is what they'll do. They'll go on Amazon and they'll buy a $25 Baofeng radio, just like this one here. I have it because it's cheap and it does work. And they'll operate without a license. That's illegal. And it's not proper. I like doing things the proper, legal way. It helps me sleep better at night. I have a license for this, for all of it. I don't use things that are outside my license. I have a CB sitting right here. But you know what? It's not hooked up to an amplifier. I run legal. If you want to get into ham radio, if you're curious, because you can have a lot of great fun, and I'm going to do another video on VHF, UHF, but I think I'm going to do that during the day when there's more activity around here on it. If you want to get on ham radio and have a little bit of fun, get a license, get legal, find a local ham club, and I'm sure there's one close to you, unless you live out in the middle of nowhere, Alaska, and even then they may still have some. They'll tell you how to get a license. Once you get a license, you're good. You don't have to worry about anything. Get on the air. You know, some people like to get into this to build things. Some people like to restore 60-year-old radios, which is cool. I like a 60-year-old radio. I think they sound better. There's ways to do this and do it right and do it legal, and you won't get yourself in trouble, and you can have fun. If you don't want to talk, that's fine. You can do Morse code. There's a lot of people out there that do Morse code. Again, you could send email, you could send pictures, you can do almost on ham radio what you could do anywhere else. You can actually bounce your signal off the moon and bounce it back and talk to somebody that way. There's guys that do that. There's guys that use ham radio to do so many different things. To talk to astronauts on the International Space Station. They have a ham radio set up there. And there's licensed hams on the space station. It's a fun activity for your kids, isn't it? What'd you do over the summer, little Johnny? Well, you know, I just sat around and played Xbox. Oh, well, what did you do, little Joey? Well, you know, I went ahead and my dad let me talk to an astronaut. Boy, you talk about good stories. This hobby is so open to where you could do so much with it. It's the way somebody described it. It's a hobby with a whole bunch of little hobbies inside of a hobby. That's why I got into ham radio. I like what we call DXing. What we call DXing is talking to people outside of the country that you're in. I'm in the U.S. Well, if I can sit here and talk to Europe, I can do that. And before I get the, oh, well, you know, what if they don't speak English? If you don't speak English, I don't talk to you. I'm not multilingual. I speak good English and bad English. And mostly bad Southern English. But there's so many different things that you can do. So, give it a try. See what you think. Look forward to seeing you on the air. 73 W5 BLX.